Blessings, everyone, and welcome to Body Rhythms. This is, I guess you could say, it's the third installment in one topic. I've been talking about water, but right now I wanted to talk about what is the best water to drink. Is tap water actually the safest and the best water? Well, the first thing that we have to understand is that each person is made up of over 75% water. So that we need to have water. This is not a topic that we can say is not important. This is very important. Most of the illnesses today, I think, are symptoms of dehydration. They'll have you believe that dehydration is one of the symptoms, but I don't believe that. Asthma, eczema, Alzheimer's, any of those things to me are, I'm sorry, symptoms of dehydration. And like I said, they'll have you think it's the other way around. So the first thing that I wanted to cover a little bit is that there are two agencies that deal with our water. We have the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, which deals with just the tap water. Then we have the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, that deals with the bottled water. Now, a lot of people didn't know that. I didn't even know that. So that there are agencies that are overseeing the water. However, there are subtle differences, and I'm going to tell you what they are. With the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, they go back, as I said, they go back to 1970. They've been around for a while, for a minute, dealing with the water, the cleanliness of the water, what's allowed, what's not allowed. But between then and now, we have so many more chemicals that we're exposed to, contaminants, toxins that we're exposed to now in our water. It's not like before where they would, like in New York, I used to say New York had the best water in the world, even though I haven't traveled the world. But I remember it was always cold, it was always crisp, and it was always this clean. And as I said, we used to drink water, at the hydrant. You can get water at the park. Anywhere that you went, you were exposed to water. Clean, nice, water. It didn't have any smell. It was just felt good. And now we don't have that. Now you have to purchase water. There is no more hydrants open where you can drink from them. There are no more restaurants that'll give you a cup of water. If you go to a restaurant, you want water, you're going to pay for it. So with all these chemicals that are being introduced into the environment, they're having to treat the water. And a lot of the treatment of the water involves adding extra chemicals such as chlorine. They think that that chlorine is a cleanser, is a disinfectant, but chlorine happens to be extremely toxic to our bodies. And when I say extremely, I mean extremely toxic, to the point where they cause heart attacks, seizures, headaches, asthma, sinus, eye, nose, throat irritations, liver, kidney malfunctions, causing miscarriages, low sperm count, things like that. This is what chlorine does to our bodies. And so the government justifies it by saying, oh, it's such a little bit amount that it's not going to matter. But what they're forgetting and what they're hoping that we're not going to think about is that a little bit, 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 a little bit over a series of time ends up to be a lot of it. So that's what's happening to people. People are getting sick. Their organs are breaking down. We're getting higher, increased numbers of people with prostate cancer, breast cancer, reproductive situations, miscarriages, things like that are happening as a result of the terrible contaminated water. And it wasn't until about 2000 when the laws were changed and the levels were increased. Now they're like, oh, a little bit won't be too harmful. So what do? Now, you have people that say, oh, bottled water is your way to go, because this bottled water is spring. And even though, on the label it have a nice Adirondack picture on there, the truth is that 40% of bottled water comes from a tap. So, is bottled water good? There are independent groups that are not controlled or even influenced by the government that have gone around and done their own studies and tests. And one in particular, the Environmental Working Group, has done a study across the nation where they went and, took samples of bottled water, tap water, different types of water to find out what is it really that's in the water. And what they found is that there are over 200 different contaminants in water that we're exposed to on a daily. So some people say, oh, well, I won't drink it. But it's not just that we drink it. We shower with it. We wash our clothes with it. We're exposed to it regardless. Volatile organic chemicals. And those are basically the pesticides and herbicides that we're exposed to from agricultural runoff. Basically, when they treat the plants and the farms with the herbicides and the pesticides, it soaks into the soil. The soil, goes down deep. Some some water sources are from deep and some are from up top. So either way, once you expose the earth to those chemicals, you have the potential for the chemicals to leach into our water sources. Those are the ones that are causing reproductive failures. Those are the ones that are causing liver and kidney failures. Those are the ones that are causing weakened immune systems. They also found heavy metals like lead and mercury. And we all know lead is not supposed to be in our body, neither is mercury. These are metals that our body cannot release on their own and are highly toxic. They also found endocrine disrupting chemicals. And basically, those are the chemicals that affect our hormones. They're most linked to breast cancer and prostate cancer. They've also been linked to low sperm count in men. I don't know how they know these things, but they do these tests over a period of time. And they've seen trends where as the water contamination is increasing, our health is decreasing. They also found fluoride. Fluoride, as you know, is one of the most toxic chemicals that we can ingest. The only thing that they claim fluoride is good for is our teeth. However, drinking the water is not going to give us it's not going to be a fluoride treatment like how they want us to believe. And really, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I know that fluoride is one of the chemicals that they say is responsible for Alzheimer's, and not just Alzheimer's, all those other issues that I said people are going through, weakened immune, liver, kidney. It's all connected. And so legally, when you go to the dentist, you have to sign for the fluoride treatment for your child. Now, the reason why you have to sign for it is because fluoride is highly toxic. And it's always so funny to me. Well, it's not funny. It's a little bit curious to me that we have to sign for it at the dentist, but yet they just put it in our water without us knowing, without us signing, without our permission or approval. And that is not good. So, what do? Again, what is the best water? So, is it bottled water? 40% of bottled water comes from the tap. So, it's definitely not bottled water. In addition to that, the plastic bottles that the water is given to us in have now been shown to leach chemicals into the water. The plastic itself is a chemical, and it's leaching into the water, and depending on how long it's been sitting in the plastic bottle, where it came from, because it might have came from someplace really hot and the chemicals are leaching into the water, then they cool it, then they get hot again, bring it back, bring it to you. You don't know how long it's been in that bottle. You don't know. You just really don't know. So is bottled water good? To me, in a pinch, if you're really thirsty and there is no other source of water, you can, but it's no different actually than tap water. Some people say it's spring water, and it would be nice if that was still a reality, but the reality is that most bottled water is just tap water. Bottled water is expensive. You have to buy it, and then don't forget, you're already paying for water at home. So now, you know, when you go outside, you're going to pay again for water. It's also hard on the environment. Those plastic bottles are not biodegradable. So, you know, people are running and buying these bottles and, you know, in droves and droves. I see people in the store all the time, and sometimes I want to run up to them and tell them, don't buy that. Save your money. Buy yourself a good filter. But you know how people are. Some people like it. They like the toxins. I don't know why, but they do. So, you know, like I said, the plastic is no good for the environment because it's not biodegradable. So what about filtered pitchers? You know, you have those like Brita and Pure. Are those good? Kind of, sort of, but not really. I'll tell you why. They're good because they do use the charcoal process, but rather than using like a block of charcoal, they use these little charcoal particles. And so the water passes through and it does filter some of the things, but it's only filtering chlorine. It's not filtering out the VOCs. It's not doing anything to the heavy metals or the endocrine disruptors or the fluoride. So it gives you good tasting water, and it might lift some of the smell, but in the long run, it's no better than tap water. It's like a better than tap water. And again, it's costly because those filters can add up. If you're a family like mine where, you know, they love water, you're going to be replacing that filter almost every 2 weeks. So it can be kind of costly. There's another system of filtering water. It's called reverse osmosis. And what that involves is they have these filters that you, these like canisters that you put under your sink. And what it does is the water runs through it and it just releases out the light water, the water that doesn't have any chemicals in it. But a lot of water gets thrown out in the process because some of these chemicals bond to the water chemicals, and it just gets a little technical in how to separate it. But what eventually happens is, let's say you filter a gallon of water through a reverse osmosis process, you might come out with like 2 or 3 cups. You're not going to get the whole gallon because of the way the process works. And then you got to have electricity, you got to have high pressured water. So if you don't have those things, that type of filtration system is not going to really work for you. And again, it only removes some of the toxins so that it'll reduce arsenic in the water. Yes, arsenic is in the water. It will reduce fluoride. It will reduce some of the heavy metals and asbestos in the water, but it doesn't get rid of everything. So the chlorine and all the other stuff is still there. And again, it wastes water in the process, so it can also be costly. So now what about distilled water? Well, distilled water in theory is good, but you don't want to drink distilled water for a long period of time. When they distill the water, they boil the water, and what happens is the steam gets collected because that's pure. So they collect the steam, and the steam is what gets collected as the water that you drink. But the problem with that is that some of the toxins just travel with the steam. They turn into a gas and travel with the steam, so it's not really separating it out. It's just making it travel with the steam. And so we still have some of the toxins there. So it does remove some of the heavy metals, but it doesn't remove the VOCs or the endocrine disruptors. And arsenic and some of the heavier metals, it doesn't reduce the fluoride, and it doesn't, as I said, reduce the VOCs. Now, and it also doesn't reduce the bacteria, because like I said, it's the vapor. It's not really splitting anything. The vapor could still contain some bacteria in it as well. the systems are kind of large and bulky in the house, and so it doesn't, it's not really good. And while it does take out some of the minerals, it may be taking out too many minerals. It's almost like mineral deficient water. So you wouldn't want to drink distilled water over a long period of time. So now we come to the last filtration option, and that's a block of carbon. They say that is the best one. That doesn't require electricity, it doesn't require running water, it doesn't require anything but the tub that it comes in. And it's this block of charcoal, and what you do is you add the water to it, and what it does is it operates with gravity. So it pulls down all of the toxins, all of the chemicals, all of the contaminants. It pulls it down toward this to this charcoal block. It removes herbicides, pesticides, the VOCs, bacteria, fluoride, bacteria, parasites, anything that could be in there is going to draw it right out. As a matter of fact, that type of filtration system can filter any kind of water. It can filter seawater, pond water, rainwater, any type of water you have, it will filter it. And this way you could have filtered water all the time, clear, pure water. You just fill it up with water at nighttime. In the morning time, you have your water supply for the day. So that was it. The best water is filtered water. If you can at all, get yourself a charcoal block. Again, I am not a doctor. I'm just sharing information, and I encourage you to look it up for yourself so that you know and can make your own wise decisions. Again, thank you for watching. If you've liked my video, please like it. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and share with your family and friends. We got to get these words out there. So thank you again for watching, and blessings.